Darkcast Network. The light shines brightest on our indie podcasts.
Hi, this is Kelly.
And this is Jenna.
And you're listening to ODFM.
This episode is One Denomination from Murder.
So are we talking money or are we talking religion?
We're talking religion.
Oh, shiz.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We're talking Apple Creek, Wayne County, Ohio. Amish country.
Oh, Amish.
Oh, yeah.
Those murderous Amish.
Yeah, right? They're in the news all the time.
All right.
Okay.
That's weird. That's the second time I've heard of Amish stuff this week.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. So my she's a vet tech, and she said they brought their animal in to the vet. Some Amish people did, which I was like, interesting. I would have thought they wouldn't believe in the vet.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Isn't that weird?
Oh, okay. I found out researching this that Apple Creek, where this happened, is a little town suburb next to Wooster, Ohio, where I've been to before because my sister-in-law and her family used to live there.
Oh.
And I know that I mean, when we went there, I don't remember I remember seeing Amish people there, but I didn't realize how big the Amish community was. She told us about it, and it was big there. But yeah, I didn't realize that, like, in this story, when they're talking about, like, like the town stuff.
Amish town,
The like, not the stuff in the Amish community, but like the English nearby town.
Right.
That was Wooster.
No way. Oh, this is right there.
I've been here. Right. That trip is what led to my speeding ticket on the way home, which got me arrested. It was the whole big thing.
Oops.
Did I put that on there? Oh, sorry.
Oops.
Okay.
It's my arrest record on here. Oops.
That's a story for That's
another good story for the future.
That's a Patreon story. Yeah, that's a good Patreon.
All right, we'll save that one for Patreon. All right.
I'm going to tell you about Barbara Miller, who was born in 1979 to a tight-knit Amish family. And yes, it was tight-knit. Like, there are some that are not tight-knit. I know it kind of seems like it's like isn't that a given? But,
Yeah, that's what I would have thought
aren't.
too. Okay.
Some aren't,
Yeah.
She was quiet and soft-spoken. She was devoted to her faith. She dreamed of the day when she would be a wife and mother in the Amish community. She embraced all of it. She was She was in it. She was happy.
Smoking the good stuff, huh?
Yes, she was. Yes.
She was drinking the Kool-Aid.
She was drinking the Kool-Aid, and it tasted good.
And she wanted to keep drinking it. All right.
Okay, so I have to give you a little background on. This is a very high level overview of the Amish because there's so much, right? But I have to give at least a little backstory so that it ties in and explains some of the stuff in the story. Okay. So, because many of the Amish believe that technology can lead to evil, like technology itself isn't evil, it's that it brings evil into their world,
it can make you become evil.
Right. It's kind of like, it's just another thing. Like they have their own community. This is
they don't want the influences.
No, exactly. That's what it is. So they limit their use of it. But different sects follow different rules.
Okay.
So Barbara's family belonged to the Eli Weaver sect, which is one of the stricter communities.
Oh, God.
So, but still, I found this really interesting. So under the Eli Weaver philosophy, I don't really know. So they can't own or drive a car.
Okay.
But they can be driven in a car. So if there's somewhere that they needed to go where they couldn't get there by horse and buggy.
So they could take like an Uber.
Yeah.
But how do they get an Uber because they don't have
exactly.
a phone?
Right. Right. So there's a small hitch there.
They got a hitchhike. Right? Okay.
So they can't own a phone, but they can use a phone. Like they can use public phone or they can use somebody else's phone.
Okay. They just can't own it themselves.
They can't own it themselves, right?
Okay.
So, and there are some exceptions because a great deal of Amish do farming, but a lot of them also do like small
furniture
businesses,
and
Amish furniture and all that, right? So there are some exceptions for them so that they can make a living doing small business, right? So there's some exceptions with some of that stuff, right? So
that's good.
Okay, so there are some exceptions, like if you own your own business, there are some exceptions to whole phone call thing to, you know,
Which makes sense. You have to like make a living.
Right. They're not trying to keep them from making a living, right?
Okay.
So there's some blurred lines there, you know, which makes things a little fuzzy.
Right.
And specifically in the community where Barbara lived, they had a community phone for emergencies. There was like a barn or a shack like in the middle where
like an
there was
outhouse.
Yeah,
It's in the outhouse so that they can, multitask.
How they ran the phone line to that, but they did have a landline in there.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's true.
Right now that I think about it, and it either had voicemail or it had an answering machine.
Okay, so they could leave messages.
This is 2009, so it probably had voicemail.
Yeah, you would hope.
But yeah, okay. So they did have an emergency phone. In this particular community, women do not cut their hair.
Okay.
And which again, it was like, some of them are like hardcore, you don't cut your hair. And some of them are like, well, you can trim it.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
and you just keep trimming it up and up and up and up.
Right, yeah. Right. And they do keep it covered. It's not always in a bonnet. Sometimes it was in like this little thing or whatever. It was like a white thing and it like with pins.
Yes.
And only married men have beards, but no mustaches. No mustaches.
I hate that look.
It's not a good look.
I'm sorry.
It's not a.
It's like those. Have you seen the new that people are saying it's the new popular beard? And it's like they shaved their head except for the front part of their head too. I hope it's a fucking
God,
joke,
I hope that's a joke.
That thing is hideous.
You just have like a circle of hair around your head.
Yeah, it's a frame. Like you don't have to have a picture frame. It's its own frame.
God.
A frame of hair.
Oh, God. There was also like, that's why I was like, I can't dig too deep in this. We're not doing a podcast on the Amish, but like some areas they trim their beards, some it just grows. It's very, gosh. So it even like depends on which community you're in, right? So it was,
Okay.
This part I think is kind of interesting and cool. Like, did you ever watch Breaking Amish?
Yes.
And all those, like, right. Yes. Okay. So that's their Rumspringa. And the whole reason for Rumspringa is because the Amish believe in adult baptism. So you're raised Amish, but when you get to be about 16, there's this period of time where that's where it's called Rumspringa, which literally means running around. And
I thought it was Rumspringer. So you go and get rum.
No.
And be like, yes, Rumspringer. I'm in.
Oh, God, no.
No. Oh.
So then they're allowed to start attending like youth gatherings and stuff and socialize with peers. The idea is to find a marriage partner.
Right. Okay.
But also the other thing is that they can choose to get baptized when they get to be about 18 to 22 years old.
Wow. Okay. So it's actually a choice.
Yes. And they want them to choose. So part of it is at 16 on the weekends, they're not really under their parents' rule as much.
Okay.
And since they're not baptized, they're not really under the authority of the church, which allows them to do some non-Amish churchy things.
Yes.
But while they don't really encourage them to go like just totally bonkers.
Sow your wild oats.
Right. They do want them, they're encouraged to at least go. And if you're interested in trying some English modern things.
Right.
You're supposed to do like this. Hey, this is what you're choosing to do. You're going to get baptized and this is going to be your life. So you better make sure
that this is what you want.
This is what you want. Right. So that's cool. So Amish parents do accept that, that kids are going to push boundaries just like any teenager does.
Always.
Right.
Always.
So whatever. Not all of them go as far as say like Breaking Amish where they go and get tattoos and have sex with everybody.
Yeah.
But a lot of them try modern clothing and hairstyles and they go to the movies and the mall and concerts and stuff. Some even learn to drive.
Wow.
And that's you're not like shunned for that. It's like, okay, right. Even though they're not going to, it's just like, I could if I wanted.
I can. Yeah. In case there's a special Amish emergency.
Right, exactly, right? So this is when 18-year-old Barbara, when she turned 18, she met also 18-year-old Eli Weaver.
Is he also a Amish?
He's also Amish.
Okay.
His family was also part of the Andy Weaver Amish community.
Oh, well, that's
I'm not
handy.
sure that they were in the same, that they lived in the same community, but both of their families came from the same
general
version of
the
rules, right? Okay. And this is before they had chosen to be baptized and stay Amish and all this. This is during the Rumspringa. Rumspringa, right?
Ah.
So,
sounds fun.
Eli was very different from the stereotypical Amish young man at this time.
He had a mustache.
I don't know. Well, that's the thing. There's no pictures. I do have pictures for this story, but they don't believe in photography. Well, it's not that they don't believe in it. Candid photos are okay. There's levels of what's okay. But what they don't believe in is portraits because they don't want to highlight one person over another person, is what I read.
Wow. That's deep.
So you're not really going to see like your kids' school pictures in the living room or whatever because you don't want to look like you're favoring anybody over the other, which is why there are literally no pictures of Barbara.
Oh, that's sad.
I know,
that's
right?
Super sad. Yeah.
I think that is kind of sad. Yeah, it's.
Can they draw each other?
Only if they're good at it. I mean,
can we paint ourselves portraits?
We've discussed that whole, the police sketch artist thing, and sometimes
that's a failure.
Maybe you don't want a sketch of yourself.
What do you do if you're an artist in the Amish community? I guess you make wood objects.
Yeah. Sculptures. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway. So Eli was very different. He was charismatic and outspoken.
Oh, that is very different.
Right. And for some reason, quiet Barbara found this really interesting and attractive.
She's like, I have never been around this before. Right.
So, and unlike Barbara, Eli took full advantage of Rumspringa.
Oh, yeah.
So he participated in more of the forbidden English activities, drinking, fast cars, sex with English women.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So these were actually forbidden even for Rumspringa.
Yeah. Well, I think it was just
super frowned upon.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
He really he was like, "Oh, I can't get in trouble, then I'm doing it all."
It's like a get out of jail free card almost.
Yes, exactly. So, but still, Barbara was really taken with Eli. I know Barbara, well, they said she was very pretty, but there's literally nothing to go off of.
That sucks.
And so apparently Eli was fond of her too. And on May 27th, 1999, they were married. Both of their parents gave their blessing for this marriage, right? So, hey.
Good.
Barbara and Eli Weaver had 5 children, 3 boys and 2 girls, all in their first 7 years of marriage.
Oh, that's a lot of work. Holy moly. And they got to make their own clothes too.
They make their own clothes.
Oh my gosh.
You can't like, deal with like a screaming toddler. Like if you would just give me 2 seconds to finish this, I will take you to McDonald's so you can get a Happy Meal. Like that's not an option.
Here's the iPad. Spend some time so I can take a shower.
Right?
Nope.
I can't plop you down in front of Dora the Explorer or whatever. Yeah, Blue's Clues. Right. There's no, oh my God. Right.
I'd have been screwed.
Yeah. I can't even. Okay. So Eli ran a small sporting goods shop across the street from their home. So like it seems like on the outer edges of like the community, there are English homes right there. Like you can have a neighbor who's English.
Okay.
It's not like they're not like boarded off or like what was that movie, The Village? M. Night Shyamalan.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not like they're like,
they're in their own forest.
Find them, right. So,
that's awesome.
You can blend. It's cool.
Okay.
So Eli ran this small sporting goods shop. It was very small. It was mostly like fishing gear and hunting supplies. It was,
that would make sense.
They didn't have like snowboards and shit. Like
that's what I was envisioning. I'm like, how would he know about all that?
Nope.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
On Tuesday, June 2nd, 2009, Barbara Weaver's neighbor calls 911 and says there is a person not responding. One of the Weaver children had found their mother unconscious in her bed and went to the neighbor for help.
Oh, man.
The neighbor had gone in there, went up, tried to wake Barbara, and when she couldn't get her to wake up, she pulled the blanket down to see that Barbara's chest was soaked in blood.
Oh, not good.
So the neighbor met police and paramedics when they arrived a few minutes later. When the paramedics pulled away Barbara's nightgown, they discovered a gunshot wound right through the heart.
Wow.
And she was declared dead. She was 30 years old. 30-year-old
and
mother
all those
of 5.
babies. All those babies without their mama. It's probably good they do live in a community that's like that because they probably take care of each other a lot, hopefully.
Well, and I'll mention it later, but at this point, she and what's his face, Eli, had only been married 10 years, so the oldest kid couldn't have been more than 9 or 10.
9.
So they're all like 9 and younger.
Mommy,
so
that's sad.
Crime scene investigators noticed gunshot powder burn on the blankets that covered Barbara. So that meant that the muzzle of the gun was really close to the blanket when it was fired.
Oh my god.
This wasn't like from far away or across the room or anything.
They're probably over her.
Right. Based on the size of the wound, they hypothesized that it was from a shotgun, but there was no gun found at the scene. And there was no gunshot residue on Barbara's hands. So they're like, well, this wasn't a suicide. Although I don't even know how you would do that with like a shotgun or a rifle. I don't know how physically, or from under the covers. Like,
yeah, I actually do know, but I don't want to know.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, there were no signs of forced entry.
Oh my god.
There was actually cash laying around in a couple different places in the house, so it wasn't a burglary.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to go rob someone, it's not going to be an Amish person.
Right.
They're not going to have the electronics I want.
Right, exactly. Seriously.
I really like your woodworking, but
Right, totally. So Barbara's death was labeled a homicide. Word that Barbara had been shot and killed in her home spread really quickly in the Amish community. Yeah. They don't have phones, but they talk. They were
right.
They were.
I bet
it, right?
that's probably the entertainment is gossiping.
Faster
I mean,
than
like
Facebook. It was just
totally.
like bam, everybody knew.
That's their entertainment.
It also made it into neighboring towns, including Worcester, Ohio.
Okay.
A murder reported in the Amish community was so extremely rare that it immediately became national news. Like this.
Oh, I bet.
This doesn't happen. There's a murder investigation in an Amish community.
What was that movie? Witness?
Oh, yes. See, this is where I have my Amish knowledge.
That's me too. That's all of my Amish knowledge. Yeah, me too. I haven't watched that in so many years. I don't even remember the premise, but I remember something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was either.
Like there was a murder or something.
I just remember that Harrison Ford was in it.
Yes, Harrison Ford.
That's what's important.
Yes,
so
that's all that really matters.
Important details.
Yeah.
So neighbors Eli wasn't around. Eli wasn't home. And neighbors told the police that Eli Weaver had left early in the morning, like really early in the morning, on a fishing trip to Lake Erie with friends. So Lake Erie, I had to find this out, it's a little over an hour away from Apple Creek. So, I mean, it's a good, but you could do that in a day. It was just,
absolutely. Yeah.
And Eli went fishing there with friends often. This was not
wasn't
weird.
Unusual. Okay.
One of the friends accompanying Eli on this trip wasn't Amish. So police were able to, someone said, oh, nope, there's an English man there. He's got a cell phone. They went and found the number. So they called that man's phone to let Eli know that there had been an accident and he needed to go down to the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. Right?
Wow. That sucks.
For some reason, it took 4 hours for him to get from Lake Erie to the police station.
Sometimes dumping a body takes a while. Oh, wait, she doesn't.
No, they had a body. They had a body.
Oh, damn it. Hey, wait a minute. Maybe he had another body.
I mean, maybe, it's an hour away. And maybe, Lake Erie's big. Maybe they
maybe they're out on a boat.
On a way out.
That's
right.
True.
They were out a ways. I don't know. But it took 4 hours.
Yeah. And then you got to take the boat rental back.
Yeah, there was a lot to do. He had to wait for a ride because he can't drive. There's a whole bunch. So 4 hours later, Eli Weaver is at the sheriff's office and they tell him that his wife has been shot and killed in their home. He is upset, confused. He has no idea who would do this, anybody who would want to harm his wife.
Right.
He's like, this doesn't make any sense. Eli told detectives that the day before he had also been out fishing and came home around 11 p.m. And I'm like, does this guy ever run his store? Like,
dude, yeah. Right? Maybe does he just have employees and then he goes and
I don't
Does
think
the fun
so.
stuff?
I don't think it's just his store.
Interesting.
So he said he'd been fishing the day before, got home at 11 p.m.
This poor mama.
Right.
Doing it all on my own.
With the 5 kids while he's fishing 2 days in a row.
Oh, that'd be a nightmare. Plus, probably washing everything by hand.
Oh, yep, exactly.
Everything. Clothing.
Oh, my God.
Dishes.
Yep.
Good Lord. No.
And cooking it. And, you know. I'm exhausted just thinking about it.
Same. Probably like crushing your own wheat.
Oh, God.
I don't know if they go that far.
I don't know. So he said when he got home at 11, his oldest son was asleep in the recliner in the living room, which I just thought of it now. I'm like, oh, yeah, my kids have fallen asleep watching TV. There's no TV.
There's no TV.
I don't know why he fell asleep in the living room.
Watching the stars.
I don't know. Anyway.
Okay.
So he got home at 11. He saw his son. He went to bed, overslept.
Uh-oh.
Woke up at 3 a.m. as he was leaving. So he went fishing. They should have just spent the night. Why would you get home at 11 and then get up to go fishing again at 3 a.m.?
3. Ugh, that sounds awful.
Right. So he said Barbara woke up as he was leaving to say goodbye, and then she went back to sleep. And that's the last time he spoke to her because, they don't have cell phones. They don't text and say hi. So, right?
I'm on the boat.
It was like, oh, you came home and now you're leaving again? Cool.
Thanks. Thanks for all your help. Oh, exactly. I'm glad I pushed out all these babies.
Eli readily agreed to a gunshot residue test, and it came back negative. He was like, yep, no, you can test me. Detectives spoke to the friends that Eli was fishing with that day, and they all confirmed that he had been with them all morning. So Eli was cleared as a suspect. Like, okay.
Okay.
Until Barbara's sister, Fanny Troyer, asked to speak to detectives.
Uh-oh.
She tells them that Eli was not the man he presents himself to be. He was, right? That never happens. It's never the husband. It's never.
Always the husband. All right. Interesting.
He was very controlling. He would withhold money from Barbara. Money that she needed to take care of their children.
Oh my God, dude.
Right?
And I'm sure it's like sparse anyway. Stop it.
Right, exactly. So when it came to the point that when it was her turn to bake pies for the church, he wouldn't always give her the money to go buy the ingredients. So then she couldn't make the pies. And it was, it was her turn. It was humiliating, right? Because
that's horrifying.
Everybody knows that he's got a store. Like, why can't she do her part? Yeah. So that was humiliating.
Oh.
There was rumors that he was physical with Barbara, that their children had witnessed him grab her, shove her. Right. So he's awesome. He's a catch.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, there was little Barbara could do. If she had reported this behavior to a bishop, it's likely that the response would have been, what did you do that your husband would treat you like this?
Oh my God. That's awful. That's still
the situation there. That's...
Okay.
Right.
So it's, I was hoping they would be more caring.
No, it was, kind of what did you do? Right. Because this is a good Amish man. So.
Right.
What are you doing? Right. So Barbara had spoken to an Amish counselor for advice in letters. So there are actual letters to verify
Well, that's good. Yeah.
Right. And so in one letter, she wrote, "Where did my friend, love, trustworthy husband go to? He hates me to the core."
Oh, that's harsh.
Oh my God, right?
Oh, how awful. God, this poor thing. And it's not like you have an easy way out. You're not educated in the English systems. You're not. Oh,
and she's obviously follows the
code.
Yes, the code. She follows the code.
Yeah.
She's, Eli also had a long history of cheating on his wife.
Oh, fun.
All the way back to his Rumspringa, when he and Barbara had been dating.
Why did he choose to stay if that's... Of course...
Exactly. He had the option.
Yeah. Or even maybe just not get married and... Yeah.
So twice... Barbara had caught him in affairs during their 10-year marriage. Twice. Both times, the women he cheated with had been from outside the Amish community. They were English women.
Well, at least that's maybe a little better because at least they're not living right there, maybe.
I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
And both times after being caught, he temporarily left both the marriage and the Amish faith for a while. Like, he left.
Can't they get, like, excommunicated then? Like, not allowed?
I guess. And he was shunned from the community.
Shunned, yeah, that's...
But he had to make amends and ask his wife and his church for forgiveness. And he did that. I don't know.
And that was all it took, huh?
Why did he come back?
Right.
And he had to go through these steps, right? He had to prove that he was sorry and that he was changing and all this. And he did that twice.
Ugh.
And
guy.
Barbara was a devout Amish wife, and divorce was not an option. You're not allowed to get divorced, right?
No, and he's probably their provider. So she's like, yeah, come back.
Yep. So, and sadly, from what was said to friends and her sister, despite everything, Barbara still loved him, and she wanted to believe him when he came back.
Of course. Well, and he's probably, if he's charismatic, like she said, he's probably a good liar.
He's probably, right?
Manipulating. Yeah. Great at making her feel like it was her fault somehow.
Oh, good Lord. So Fanny Troyer says that just recently, Barbara told her that she suspected that Eli was cheating again.
No.
All the signs were there.
I mean, it's only happened a couple times before.
Right, exactly. And those are just the 2 times that she knows of, right?
Right.
So
absolutely. It's probably ongoing.
So she's like, yeah, I have this feeling. And she actually told her sister that she was scared.
Uh-oh.
But she was not scared of Eli. She was scared of his girlfriends. She had this worry that one of his mistresses was going to want him all to herself. And the only way to do that, since they don't believe in divorce,
is to kill her.
Barbara to be out of the picture.
Oh,
if your spouse dies and you remarry, they're like, good for you, but you can't get divorced.
That's insane. I mean, that just is giving them no other option, but
right. Right.
Oh my God.
So before detectives can act on this information from the sister, a new tip comes in. A threatening message was left on the community phone voicemail. Remember I said that they had like a shack where they had it? There's a voicemail. And it said something to the effect of, you can run, but you can't hide. We got the wrong person last night, Eli.
Oh, I was like, that'd be hilarious if they just said, you can run, but you can't hide. And they're all like, who is it? Ah! They're all running around. I feel threatened, but I'm not sure if it was for me.
Nope. Eli's name was in there. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, who wants to hurt Eli?
Yeah.
Welcome to Brew Crime, a true crime and beer podcast.
This is a podcast where we pick a theme, cover a few cases, and pair them with craft beer.
Join me, Mike.
And me, JT.
As we explore the world of crime, conspiracies, or whatever catches our attention. You can find us on social media at Brewcrime or our website, brewcrime.com. And you can find us on any podcast app at Brewcrime Podcast.
Join us as we discuss the horrible crimes that surround us and maybe, definitely tip a bottle or two back as you do it. Drink with us the second and last Tuesday of every month.
The next day, police interview Eli again, and they question him about his marital infidelities.
Oops.
Eli says it's been years since he last cheated on his wife. Don't worry, it's been years, you guys. It's been a while.
I mean, I've been married for 10. How many could it be?
Who can even remember anymore, right?
So long ago.
Right. So when they pressed him for more details, Eli clammed up and decided he wanted a lawyer.
Oh.
And there was a Amish man who was a lawyer for the community.
Wow. Okay.
His name was Andrew Hyde. And so Andrew Hyde comes in and he tells police that Eli will cooperate once he and his client have had some time to talk. I was like,
okay, I'm going to coach him on what to say.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
To you guys during your interview.
What you can and can't say, right? So in the meantime, while they're having their little powwow or they leave the police station or what have you, investigators start getting tips from other people in the community that say that Eli had been seen spending a lot of time with someone that they referred to as the taxi lady.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
Because when they need rides, they need rides,
right? So they're like, well, let's find out who this taxi lady is. The taxi lady was a woman named Barb Raber. She went by Barb. It was Barbara, but she went by Barb. So we have Barb Weaver.
Oh my gosh.
The victim, and Barb Raber, the taxi lady.
Wow, they almost have the same name. Plus Barb, the taxi driver lady. That just makes me think of Pee Wee Herman. And when he gets in that truck and the lady's like big, tough.
Oh, God, yes.
Lady. Yeah, yes. That's what I assume a Barb taxi driver would be. A Barb taxi driver.
Well, I do have a picture of her. Is not what she looks like.
No.
She looks very small and meek.
Oh, okay. What? Not the taxi driver I know of.
Exactly. So Barb Raber was a 39-year-old Mennonite woman who worked as a driver for the Amish, taking them places they couldn't. This was her job.
Yeah, well, she's of the wild Amish.
Right, exactly, right?
Yes, we're more free than you fools. Ha ha ha.
Exactly.
I can drive.
So Barb Raber had been adopted and raised Amish. But after getting married, she and her husband had left the Amish church and joined a Mennonite church.
Okay.
And most Mennonite churches are more liberal than the Amish churches, and they're less restrictive when it comes to technology.
So. Yeah, I went to school with a few.
Okay.
So obviously they were in our schools too. So.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Barb and Ed, I think it was Ed Raber was his name. Barb and Ed lived in nearby Millersburg, which was just another small town there.
Okay.
With their 3 young children. So she's married with 3 children.
Wow.
This is what she does for a living.
Right.
She drives them around.
Drives the Amish around. Okay. That works.
Detectives reach out to Barb and they want to speak to her about the death of Barbara Weaver. And her response to them was, "Am I a suspect?"
Uh-oh. Should you be? Do we?
That's a weird thing to say.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question first.
But she does decide to talk to them, and she said she'll tell them about Eli. And she says that she met Eli Weaver about 4 years ago when she started driving a car for the Amish, right? And getting paid for rides and stuff, right?
That could be taken somewhere.
I realized right as I paused, that went through my head. I was like, yeah, getting paid for rides. Right?
Yeah, that sounds the oldest profession in the world.
Exactly. So Barb admitted that at one point she and Eli had a sexual relationship.
Shocker.
Right.
What?
They had sex in her car.
Perfect.
In the barn.
Oh.
In the woods. Wherever they could get away. I should also note that the barn was the Weaver's barn. This is the same barn where they held Barbara Weaver's funeral.
That's awful.
Right.
Oh.
I mean, despite the fact that this is also their family barn and whatever, that's where their cows or whatever. I don't know what they had.
The poor cows.
But then they actually had the funeral was there too.
Now the cows are traumatized. And
these cows have seen things.
They're like, that hay is dirty. I'm not eating that hay over there.
Oh, gross. Okay. So Barb Raber said that the affair ended about 6 months ago when they both decided that they should stop to save their marriages. They both wanted to stay in their marriage.
That's so kind of you to decide that before you. I mean, you could have thought about it ahead of time, but
no. She and Eli remained friends, and he still hired her regularly as a driver.
Not for rides.
She didn't say anything, but we'll just
leave it at that then. Mm-hmm.
So let's see. So detectives asked where she was around the time that Barbara Weaver was murdered. And Barb said that the day before the murder, she had driven Eli and his friends to and from Lake Erie to fish.
Oh, so that's how they got there. Okay.
Yeah, Barb, the taxi lady. She said that she dropped them off at their homes and got home to her house around 11 p.m., just about when about when
Eli got home. Okay.
And that she stayed there the rest of the night with her husband. That's where she was. And they're like, okay, cool. Then 25-year-old Dandy Heasley calls the sheriff's department and asks to speak to the detectives on the Barbara Weaver case.
Dandy. Is that a guy or a girl? Because I mean, it's unisex. Yeah.
Yes, I guess it is. It's Dandy. Yep. Dandi. Dandy.
Oh, Dandy.
Ain't she
That's
dandy?
just Dandy. Oh.
Right. Dandy tells investigators that 2 years ago, she met Eli Weaver on a social networking site called Moco Space.
Not MySpace. Moco
Not MySpace.
Space.
Moco
Is
Space.
this the Amish version of MySpace?
Well, it can't be because they don't do technology.
I know. But wouldn't that be hilarious? They could have a pretend screen.
When I looked at
they hold between each
screen,
other. They hold it between each other. Hello. Welcome to Moco page. Whatever.
They don't text each other. They have the two cans and a string.
But there's so many strings in every direction.
And I did look. Moco Space was like born out of MySpace. And it's mostly used by kids. It's like gaming and networking and...
Oh, that's hilarious.
Right.
How bizarre. Okay.
And she had been intrigued by his profile name, the Amish Stud.
Oh, God. Why does that? It makes me think of a horse. Even though... I guess a stud horse, but, like...
Maybe that was the connotation he was hoping...
Yeah.
That was... Yeah. In his profile, he asked, who wants to do an Amish guy?
Well...
Wow.
Don't everybody put your hands up at once.
Sign me up.
So...
And his profile included a photo of his bare chest.
Ooh.
I'm like, wait a minute. We don't do pictures. We don't...
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
This is against your religion in every single way.
All of it,
Every
right?
single way. Does he have a dad bod in these pictures? Because that would be even... I mean, that would just make more sense.
They do a lot of physical labor. He had a...
That's true.
Fairly...
That's true, they do.
Let's just put it this way. I do have pictures of him.
You have his... I do have pictures of his chest.
And I do have the picture of his chest.
Oh, my God!
And it's just his chest. So it doesn't show him from the neck up. It's just his chest.
That's weird. Okay.
And so had I not seen the face,
Yeah, like, hey, that's good. All right. I might try out this Amish Stud.
Don't make me spit out my drink into the microphone.
Sorry. Oh my God.
Oh, God. So, also, I just want to point out that who wants to do an Amish guy, the 2 is the number 2. It just made me, it's just, right.
It's even more, I don't know.
Right? That's why I felt like I had to say it.
He's obviously up on technology because he knew, texting lingo and stuff. So interesting.
So Dandy said that Eli gave her a cell phone number where she could contact him.
Oh, yeah, that's handy.
And he explained that since he owned the cell phone for his business.
Oh, right.
So she was like, oh, okay, that's not weird.
That's not weird. Mm-hmm.
She said they had a brief fling. Now, she's 25.
Oh.
Right? I mean, she's 25 now. So she would have been 23 when they had the fling. Ugh.
Okay.
She said it was just brief. They had sex a few times when they could both meet up during the day.
Okay.
But they remained, friends, Moco Space buddies for some time after, right?
Oh, no. Is she English?
No.
She was Amish too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I do have pictures of her.
Well, obviously, if she's on Moco Space.
Right, yeah. So,
okay.
So Eli, they talked, right? So he mentioned that he was very unhappy in his marriage, and he made several dark comments that at the time she kind of disregarded.
Of course.
He would sometimes talk about ways to kill somebody.
Oh, boy.
Just to shoot the shit.
Yeah.
Right? Once he told Dandy, if you see my wife in the driveway, run her over.
Wow. Great.
Yeah. After
You're
that.
A catch.
Yeah. After that, Dandy's like, I think I'm going to kind of distance myself from this guy. This is a little.
She is a little smarter than we thought.
So she stopped talking to him.
Okay, good.
And she actually ended up deleting her Moco Space profile. Like, she wasn't on the site anymore.
Okay. Well, she shouldn't be on there at all if she's following her religion, Okay.
So when she heard through the grapevine that Barbara Weaver had been murdered, she called police.
Oh, good.
Yeah, good for her, right?
From the outhouse?
From the outhouse.
Phone.
I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe she had a cell phone. I don't even know anymore. It's, everybody's just...
They're getting wild.
I know.
They're throwing out the rules.
Right.
Going willy-nilly.
Police asked Dandy if she will contact Eli on his cell phone so that they can get a hold of this cell phone, right?
Okay.
So but the number she had for him had been disconnected. But she said, well, I'm not on Moco Space anymore, but I'm willing to create a new profile, and I'm pretty sure if I do and I contact him, he'll respond to me. So they're like, okay, so they get her a computer, which she knew how to use, obviously. I don't know.
I mean, there's libraries you can go to and stuff,
Yeah, but you got to take the taxi lady to get there.
Yeah.
Or your horse and buggy. I don't know. So
Barb.
So she messages Eli from her new account asking, hey, what's going on? I'm hearing some things. Call me. And left her number.
Perfect.
And so obviously she had a cell phone, right?
Yeah.
And Eli called back within minutes.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yeah, not shocked.
So he told Dandy that, someone killed my wife and I'm staying at my parents' house right now. So I can't really talk right now, but I'll call you back later. And she was like, he was calm. There was no emotion. It was just like matter of fact. Oh yeah, someone killed my wife. There's a murderer running around. What else?
Yeah,
right?
My kids don't have a mom.
Exactly. So, but that was all detectives needed because now that they had his secret cell phone number, they got a subpoena for his phone records.
Yes. Okay.
And this was kind of interesting. It turned out that the cell phone was actually in Barb Raber's name. And
Barb.
he was on her friends and family plan.
Oh my God. So you don't just put anybody on your friends and family plan.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Of course he was.
So from the phone records, detectives identified several girlfriends that Eli
Somehow
had.
I'm not surprised.
Right?
That sounds like this guy.
And all of them were willing to cooperate with police. And every single one of them said that they heard Eli make some kind of dark comment about his wife.
Dude, keep your mouth shut.
Right. Including just straight up asking, do you know anyone who would kill my wife for me?
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Wow. He should know, living in the Amish community where probably, like we were saying, gossip is the way of entertainment. Keep your mouth shut or it's going to get out.
I know. He might be an Amish stud, but he's not smart.
It's not.
Amish
wizard.
stud.
I know. I don't know why. It makes me think of a certain type of giant horse.
I just kept thinking like that phrase was like an oxymoron. Like it was just like
totally.
Amish stud. But anyway, the cell phone records showed that Eli and Barb texted daily.
Oh,
like
God,
still.
Great. So okay. He's like hiding it under the table as he's eating with his
I don't
family.
know. Well, I don't know if it's just like when he's at the store or what.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe.
Obviously, it's on silent all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, because he can't just be like, "Oh, cell phone, it's not mine." Like, no, there are no phones ringing.
Yeah. No, there's no peripheral sounds.
Or unless he put so it sounds like a rooster when it goes off or something. So you can be like, "Oh, yeah." I don't know. So they realized that Barb had lied. Not only were they still talking regularly, they were still carrying on a sexual relationship. It was very obvious from the text messages.
Wonderful.
And they often messaged about how they could get rid of Barbara.
God, Barb, you're in trouble now too. Look at what you done.
See, this is what happens when you are not familiar with technology.
Yeah.
And you don't watch TV, so you haven't seen like cold case files and shit.
You don't know what not to do.
You don't know that this stuff can come back to bite you in the ass.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. So one text from Barb said, if we could get something in her to make her sleep and then get a can or two of nitrogen or CO2 gas, let it leak out under the bed, it would look like carbon monoxide poisoning.
But they don't have, do they use just gas as heat? I wonder.
You know what? I don't totally know, but
or
somehow,
I guess a fireplace, that would do it too.
I guess that's
interesting.
Yeah. So, right. Eli sent a text suggesting that they could put rat poison in like a spice cupcake because then she might not notice the taste of the. Oh my
God, that's horrifying.
But this one's my favorite, I guess. Eli sent a text to Barb suggesting she blow up his house.
Oh, with the kids in it?
And Barb responded, that would be hard to do with the kids in there. And Eli answered, that's okay. They're innocent. They'll go to heaven.
What a freaking scum. Like, if he wasn't scum enough before, this is just bottom of the barrel algae shit. Get rid of that guy.
Exactly. Now he doesn't even give a shit. Oh my God. I was like, seriously? Cell records showed texts between Eli and Barb the night before Barbara Weaver's body was found.
Great.
In those text messages, Barb was saying that she was scared to go through with it and having second thoughts. That's what she was.
So then call the police right then. Yeah.
And then Eli was responding, encouraging her to go ahead.
Of course he was. Oh, so he's going to make her do it.
Uh-huh.
What a piece of shit.
Well, he's fishing.
What a piece of shit.
So, So Eli messaged Bob? I don't know. Bob. I don't know who Bob is.
What are you doing here, Bob?
And said that he left a door unlocked for her. And even said, well, here's where you can go to park your car so it won't be seen. And be sure to bring a flashlight.
God, what a piece of shit. Oh, my God. And they probably don't lock their doors in their community.
Well, I guess this one, he purposely left one unlocked.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
24 hours later, there were texts from Barb telling Eli, whatever you do, don't give your cell phone to the cops. I am disconnecting your number and I will get you a new one.
Okay.
But she obviously doesn't realize that it doesn't matter, man. It
doesn't matter whether they have the actual phone. They can, I get the stuff.
The only other thing that I didn't find when I was doing my researching and stuff is the 5 kids were home.
Yeah. What happened? How did they not?
How did they not hear anything?
Yeah.
I mean, again, they weren't in their room with their headphones on, blasting music, right? I don't understand.
Ugh.
Yeah. So on June 10th, 8 days after Barbara's body was found, police arrested her husband, Eli Weaver, and his mistress, Barb Raber, for murder. God. This was an interesting tidbit. In the 250 years the Amish have lived in America, this was only the 3rd time an Amish man was suspected of killing his wife.
3rd time.
Although I believe that there are Amish crimes that go on that just aren't brought to the English police. I think there are things that happen, but this was only the 3rd time where this became like a public.
Yeah, or it was into our society.
Right? So when forensics looked at Barb's computer, because I guess Mennonites can have a computer.
Oh, true.
They found over 800 searches for how to poison somebody.
Barb.
That's a lot of research, man. I didn't do that much research for this story, right?
No.
I mean, damn.
Jeez. Oof, she could have gotten ricin from Russia, but.
There you go, right?
She didn't think of that.
Okay, from your last story, I bet you there's less research on poison on your computer than there was on
I think you're right. I think you're right.
It's ridiculous.
Holy
800. Shit. Maybe she's not good at searching. I don't know.
Maybe.
Eli refused to cooperate and denied any involvement whatsoever. But Barb told detectives that she had fallen in love with Eli and that he said he thought his wife was becoming suspicious. So Eli convinced her to help him kill his wife because that was the only way to get out of an Amish marriage.
Obviously not, because he got out of it a couple times before. Right. So.
Also, Barb's still married with 3 kids. So
what the hell? Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so, both of them suck.
Barb admitted that around 4:30 a.m. on June 2nd, she snuck into the Weavers' home with her husband's shotgun. But that's when she says she was only there to scare Barbara. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've heard this story, right?
Yeah.
She said she didn't remember loading the gun.
Oh, I blacked out.
Uh-huh. And so when she walked up to Barbara at 4:30 in the morning while she was, asleep, the gun accidentally went off.
Oh, whoops. My finger pulled this trigger thing you never pull.
Exactly. So she said, this is a great quote, "I never intended anything to happen, but when it did, I was like, oh, crap."
Whoops. I went through with what we've been planning for 2 years. So,
well,
whoops.
Shit, that was unexpected.
Yeah, didn't know that would happen.
Right? So I'm like, okay.
You're full of shit.
In August of 2009, just before his trial was to begin, Eli's lawyer goes to the prosecution asking for a plea deal.
Oh, God.
Eli would plead to the lesser charge of conspiracy to commit murder and then testify against Barb Raber.
Oh, that's crap. No.
Right? Because who's the real slimeball?
Yeah.
Right?
He's the one who orchestrated this whole thing.
Right. Plus, you know what? I just realized his kids have to know now that, you know,
absolutely.
he didn't
Dad
care
killed
if they
mom.
were. Dad killed mom, and he didn't give a crap if we died along with him.
Yeah. What a piece of shit. And he's trying to throw this other person under the bus that he manipulated into doing it for him.
Exactly. So Eli's lawyer, Andrew Hyde, warned him that he would have to tell detectives the truth about his part in the murder in order to get the plea deal.
Oh, good.
And Eli's like, all right, cool. So he told detectives that the murder was Barb's idea so that she and Eli could be together, and that once Barb had her mind set on something, there was no talking her out of it. Because that's what the text messages show.
Let us show you this. Can you read? Let me show you.
They have no idea that those things stay.
Totally.
Oh, God. Eli showed no remorse or emotion as he admitted to police that at 3 a.m. on the morning of the murder, he texted Barb to say he had left the basement door open for her and then left on his fishing trip, which had been planned in advance to give him a solid alibi.
What a piece of shit.
Right?
Go take care of this for me. Like everybody else is taking care of all my things for me. You're going to do this too. What a piece.
And he mentioned that on his way to Lake Erie, he received several texts from Barb and knew that his wife had been killed because they were texting back and forth. But who was driving them? Because Barb's the only taxi lady I know, but whatever.
Except he had that English friend, but maybe he talked him into it. Yeah.
So Barb Raber was offered a plea deal, but she declined, which is stupid.
Yeah, at least take the deal.
She should have testified against him. So she declined. She wanted to go to trial and maintained her story that she only intended to scare Barbara and that the killing was an accident.
That's not going to work, honey.
Oh, yeah. So, they're like, okay. So they ended up doing a plea deal with Eli.
No.
He pled guilty to complicity to murder and was sentenced to 15 years to life in prison, which means he will be eligible for parole in 2024.
No.
And he will only be 44 years old.
Oh, my God.
Which is still time to be an Amish stud.
You're right. Except they won't want him back. Hopefully this time they'll be like, there's no amount of apologizing you can do. But since it sounds like a typical patriarchy, they might take him back.
In September of 2009, Barb Raber, her trial began. Eli testifies against her and downplays his involvement, of course. He tells the jury that he didn't think that Barb was really going to kill his wife like that.
This dick.
The prosecution had no physical evidence to prove that Barb Raber was ever in the house. Like, she said she was there, and she said that it was an accident, but they didn't have fingerprints, they didn't have DNA, they never found the gun, there were no witnesses, even though there were 5 kids in the house. I don't know.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Still, the cell phone and computer evidence was enough to convince the jury.
Oh, shit.
And Barb Raber was guilty of aggravated murder, and she was sentenced to life in prison. She will be eligible for parole in 2032 when she's 62.
That is such bullshit.
Right?
That is such bullshit. Of course he would do that. Oh, that grosses me out.
Right?
Oh, that is so unfair.
So that is the story of the Amish stud and his Mennonite mistress.
That he threw under the buggy.
That he threw under the buggy. Shit. Yeah. So Barb Weaver, her life was taken. Her 5 kids have no mother, no father. Barb Raber's husband. Yeah.
Who knows?
He got screwed.
On
Her
his
3
own.
kids, no mother. Just what a flippin' disaster.
Just because he can't keep his dick in his pants.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
He left twice.
Any
of those times.
Just stay gone.
Stay.
Just don't come back. We'll make it fine without your dumb ass. Oh, poor Barb.
So,
poor kids.
there you go.
Yeah, it does make you wonder how much of that stuff is hidden inside the community and how many times something similar might have happened, but maybe they just bury it.
Take care of
Literally.
it somehow.
Yeah.
Right. But because it wasn't specific, but I get the impression that when the kids went for help and they went to a neighbor, that they went to an English neighbor. for help. And so they called the police, whereas maybe if they had gone to an Amish neighbor, maybe they would have just sent
You're right.
I don't know, a bishop over or something. I don't know. Right? Or maybe or maybe they wouldn't have. I mean, I don't know. But,
I don't know how that works.
But the police got involved this time. So I don't know that so it was kind of an interesting fact that 250 years with only 3 men suspected, but I don't know how true that is.
You've got to know that, I mean, there's got to be rapes and all sorts of stuff that happened that's never ever reported because it's just
part of.
You're a woman. What do you expect is going to happen?
Mm-hmm. What did you do to cause this to happen?
Yes. Ugh.
So that's my lovely story about the
Amish
Stud.
That was really good. I had never heard that story. That is insane.
I didn't know that one. So I can tell you my sources.
Oh, please.
The most interesting one where I actually got to see stuff because there's really not a lot of photos or anything is Killer Couples, Season 15, Episode 3, Barb Raber and Eli Weaver.
Nice. Okay.
I also had the New York Post Online had an article. And I did a little background at AmishAmerica.com, so I knew what the hell I was talking about.
They have I was like, they have a website? How do they have a website?
Obviously not self-run.
No.
Now that you say something,
somebody that maybe left the community.
Yeah,
and
there's a huge FAQ section where you could just ask specific, they have all kinds of questions. Yeah, it was interesting. I was like, oh. So I started to go down a rabbit hole. I'm like, whoa,
I bet. Yeah. Oof.
So thank you everybody for listening to another fun-filled murder story.
With a lot of dick. Still. Again.
We seem to find a lot of those.
Yeah, there's a lot of maybe people need to learn to swaddle those dicks a little better. It's like a new pair of underwear. It's the swaddler. Keeps you from getting out of line.
God.
The swaddler.
Speaking of cages and leashes.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Keep following us. Oh, and please share. We're getting more popular, and we love that, and we want it to get out to the rest of the world. So
if you can leave us a review, Spotify does reviews now. We're on Good Pods.
Yes.
We don't have any review. We don't have a review on Spotify because apparently you have to have so many before they actually post a review. So I guess we don't have very many on Good Pods. Number 25 in indie true crime.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. I like it.
In the top 100, number 25.
Oh, yes.
Hey, Oddies. Thanks for listening to another episode of ODFM. If you're a longtime listener, hey, we cannot thank you enough for your continued support. And if you're a new listener, thanks for giving us a try. If you like us, please drop us a like, subscribe, or rate us so we can share our stories with more people around the world. And if you'd like more information, like links to our podcast and socials, along with our Patreon fan page, those links are all on Linktree under ODFM Podcast. That's linktr.ee/ODFM Podcast. Side note, you guys, we're obsessed with fan art, and we love making things with it, like stickers for our fans. So if you'd like us to use your designs, send it to us at odfmpodcast@gmail.com. And if we use your design, we'll be sure to send you a sticker.
Thanks for listening to another episode of ODFM, hosted by Kelly DeVries and Jenna Swanson. Production and editing by Kelly DeVries. Theme music by Eric Swanson. ODFM is a satirical true crime podcast for entertainment purposes only. The stories you hear are serious and true. The comments and opinions are not. We apologize if any of our content is harmful or disrespectful.